much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for coming tonight, listening about a time and place which has long passed. But unfortunately, it hasn't. It hasn't because the same hatreds, the same propaganda, the same demonization that took place 70 and 80 years ago is being repeated in different guise. It's the same issue clad in a slightly different garb. That's all it is. So let me tell you about the place and time. Let me, in fact, take you on a journey. The journey from a place and time of my life. I began my life in a very pleasant, beautiful place and a very pleasant, beautiful time. In fact, I was born in 1929 and I had nothing to do with the Depression. I did not create it. I owned no stock. I grew up in a country called Czechoslovakia. Now, there is no such country today. There are now today the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the Slovak Republic. At the time I was born, it was this wonderful country. It was a new country. It was all of 11 years old. By already 11 years after its birth, it assumed a kind of conditions that were really based on the best of America. It was a democracy, a republic, where freedom and equality was reigning. Where Catholics and Protestants and Jews and Gypsies and Russian Orthodox lived together, had opportunities together. You might ask, how did that come to be? In the middle of Europe. Well, the man who was president of that country spent many years in America. In fact, he was a professor of political science at the University of Chicago. He came back and said, I will try and create what the best of America has to give. In many ways, ideal. And so when I come on the scene in 1929, I come to a family. I have a father and a mother, an older brother. He's 3 years older than I. I'm born into this family, and I come home from the hospital, and my parents did something very unusual. They were concerned about my older brother, 3 years old. He was king of the hill, like all firstborn are. But the grandparents oohed and ahed every time he said something or did something. And suddenly an interloper comes in. Who asked him? Who needs him? Like all of a sudden I have to share. Like, who likes to do that anyway? So my parents in their ultimate wisdom decided one of the things to do is to somehow lessen the blow. How do you do that? Well, fortunately, my father had a rather good job at the time and ventured into business, but they said, we're going to get someone to take care of the baby. We'll get a nanny. And this way the nanny will take all of the needs of the baby, and my older brother, Andrew, or as he was known by his nickname is Bandi, would not be upset. So I guess that worked out fine. And we live in this city, a small one. The whole city was about 7,000 people, made up of about 2,000 Jews, actually. It was a fairly large Jewish community. And something like 3,500 or so Catholics, and the rest was made up of Russian Orthodox and some Protestants and some Gypsies. It was a nice city. It was a city which had very nice things. It had an ice skating rink. It had tennis courts, a soccer stadium. paved roads, a movie theater, and a school. A single school. A public school. There were no parochial schools. There were no Catholics or Christian or Jewish schools. Just a single school. And as a result of it, every child went to the same school. So when you looked at the school, you saw this mass of kids working together, playing together, playing hooky together. What did I say? Playing soccer. All the things that children do, without distinction. Now it's true, after school was over, each one of the groups probably went to their own distinct religious schools in the afternoon or early evening. And so you might say this was an integrated community. That's in 1935. That's the world that I come in. That's what I remember. In fact, just to let you know how integrated it was from my perspective. 3 houses down from me lived a first grader, just like me, and she was pretty. And I realized on the first day of school. So I decided it would be nice to walk with her back and forth to school. She happened to have been in Russian Orthodox, but that didn't mean much to me or to her. And we became friends. And so that's where I am in 1935. My world is totally circumscribed. It's circumscribed by my life, my friends, my family, my school friends, my teacher, my soccer team. That's my world. Because in 1935, the geopolitics of the world were unraveling. In Germany, a new regime came into being in 1933. By 1935, that regime, that Nazi regime, that evil regime was in full control. And in particular, Jews were persecuted already. But a 6-year-old doesn't know that. And I didn't. I knew nothing about what was going on. In 1935 and 36, 37. The first time that the full impact of persecution affects me was in 1939, before my 10th birthday. What happened? Well, what happened by 1939, Germany has expanded. It in fact occupied all of the western part of Czechoslovakia. There was no more Czechoslovakia. The Czech portion, what is now the Czech Republic, became part of Germany. And this new country that was formed, called Slovakia, is where I live. And new countries generally decide they're going to have elections. And different political parties are involved. But the political party that took control, that got the majority of the vote, was a party called the Linke Party. What was their agenda? Their agenda was identically the same as that of Nazi Germany. Upon taking control of the government, they began to pass laws against me. To give you an idea how I knew that something went awry, something was amiss. In the summer of 1939, I do what all kids did before me. You play. You have no school, right? No school in the summertime. It's fun time. So we would meet in the park and have a good time. So one morning I get up and I'm off to the park to meet my friends. I get to the park, right at the gate,